The issues for women that are connected to mental health are really connected to the experiences of oppression or sexism that they experience throughout our cultures, right? So we think about issues connected to economics, the pay gap, access to resources, things like chronic stress. Those issues disproportionately impact women of color. There are also issues connected to body image and messages around trying to be sexy or being told to be sexy. We think about marketing and the common slogan of sex sells, right, which we're all familiar with. And that disproportionately impacts women. It puts an exorbitant amount of pressure for women to value themselves based solely on the way that they look and to feel value from others based on the way that they look. Connected to that is also our role as caretakers and the role that we fill as mothers and wives and daughters, right? That we feel that our worth and our value is connected to what we do for others to take care of them. And so if we don't participate in those things, or we choose not to engage in things like having children, sometimes that can lead to feeling pressure of not being woman enough or not fulfilling your womanly duties. And that can also lead to stress and mental health difficulties. Growing up as a little girl, I had 2 older brothers, and so I was quite the tomboy. There were things that I did that were traditionally feminine, but generally speaking, I was not like a girly girl, if you will. And so I experienced a lot of being outgrouped, right? Being bullied, being told that I wasn't girl enough, right? A lot of rejection from boys. It led to a lot of issues with self-esteem and self-worth, right? So we operate under this assumption from the messages that come from our culture that in order to be a boy or in order to be a girl, we have to be a certain way. And while women's roles have changed a lot in the last 50 years, 60 years or so, right? We're now working full-time often. We work outside of the home on top of being our motherly roles. Unfortunately, men's roles have not evolved as much or as consistently. And I do want to note that gender issues impact men and women on both sides, right? So obviously there are stereotypes and biases about men that makes them feel pressured to act and behave a certain way. So we think about the stereotypes around women, and we hear lots about how women are overly emotional, that they are erratic, they can't control themselves. Heaven forbid they get their period and that disrupts something in the way that they're regulating their emotions, and therefore then they won't be able to handle high stress or high powerful jobs that a man might be able to. Obviously, we know that there's not science that supports that and that women are perfectly capable. All of that contributes to the expectations that we put on girls to have things together. So then when we're outside of that gender role, right, or we're different, we're more outspoken, we're more assertive, right, we often feel as if there's something wrong with us because I don't fit into that narrow definition or that narrow box that I've been told that I should be. So women are more common to experience things like depression and anxiety. However, what we think about when we think about someone struggling with depression is someone who's withdrawn, isolated, crying a lot, right? And those are really feminine expressions of sadness. I know that my mother, when I was a young girl, talked a lot with me about the importance of listening to my intuition, listening to my gut, sensing when those hairs on the back of your neck stand up, because that's your body trying to communicate to you those danger cues. I would say probably one of the biggest things is for us to stop judging ourselves. But so recognizing that we don't need to compare ourselves to others, we don't need to judge other people or ourselves for who we are. We're all doing the best that we can, and that's what matters. If you are struggling, it is okay to go and talk to someone. You are experiencing those things not because there's an inherent flaw inside of you, but because you've been told that you have to be this certain way. And so then the work is recognizing that messaging and fighting against not internalizing it and fighting back against the system that tells you that you to be a certain